Um, so welcome everybody. My name is Becky Migas, she, her pronouns, and I am the founder and chief care connector for Women in Sustainability. Women in Sustainability is an inclusive social and environmental justice nonprofit dedicated to caring for the people that care for the planet through community advocacy, resources, and education to create a sustainable and equitable future through the feminist viewpoint and leadership. Women in Sustainability strives to create a safe space for like-minded and diverse individuals to create purposeful connections and conversations. All are welcome in our community. So a few items before we get started. As I noted, we are recording today's session, so you would have gotten that notice. Closed captions are turned on. So as I mentioned, you can toggle those on or off. We work to be an extremely inclusive community. So if you are able and willing to change your pronouns, you can do that by clicking on the three dots over your name and updating your name to include your pronouns as you feel comfortable. We do ask that you stay muted during the presentation. We just want to give as much respect and space to our speaker today, so ask that you stay on mute. We may have a chance to talk a little bit at the end, but in the meantime, please ensure that mute button stays on. Open up your chat and say hello. As we had mentioned, we will be utilizing our chat throughout this event. Gargi will be asking some questions towards the end that we'll be able to post some answers in that chat. So get that open and ready. If you haven't mentioned yet, is Mental Health Awareness Month. Let us know, what do you do for your own self-care? And then at the end, we'll also have some time to ask questions in that chat as well. Support our speaker. If you hear something you like, if you do have your camera on, click your fingers or clap your hands. If your camera is off, feel free to use those emojis or those reactions down at the bottom, just to give a little bit of love and extra excitement in this virtual space. And then we're all here to learn today, so just be kind and courteous, take space and make space, that we're all wanting to just take time for ourselves and learn some of these simple practices that we can do for our own self-care as we move forward with the work that we do every day. So ensuring that we're giving space to everyone here today. All right, let's go ahead and get started on today's webinar. I am so excited to introduce our speaker. Gargi Agarwala was born in India and raised in the United Kingdom and has lived in several parts of the world since. She left the corporate world of advertising in upstate New York to discover her true calling, helping people release stress and understand the importance of self-care through yoga, meditation, and coaching, so health and happiness are accessible every day. She says, no matter where in the world I teach, I find that people don't have a regular, systemized way to connect to their feelings, direct their thoughts, or hear the wisdom of their own inner voice. And this is a problem she hopes to remedy. She has taught throughout Europe and now continues her work and research in many fields of wellness in Denver, Colorado. She is married and has 2 children and the most lovable Cocker Spaniel in the world. So please help me give a very warm Women in Sustainability welcome to Gargi.
Well, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. I'm also joining from Colorado, and on this rather grey and miserable day, I feel right at home because I grew up in England, so I love this weather. Well, thank you again for making the time to join today. I want to start by talking about sustainability as it relates to us as humans. And for me, sustainability is the prioritization and actions we take towards our longevity. So if you think about sustainability for the human body, it's really about longevity, our endurance. Because I really feel that none of us can borrow from tomorrow to pay for today. And we do that. We do that with our energy. We do that with our time. We sometimes do that with our sleep. We think, oh, I'll sleep tomorrow, or I'll sleep when I'm dead. And this is how we are borrowing from tomorrow to pay for today. And that's just not sustainable. So as much as we are looking for sustainability for our planet, I think thinking about sustainability and longevity of self is what's going to let you keep on doing the work that you do. And the truth actually is that we all know what we're supposed to be doing. We all know we're supposed to be eating right and exercising and sleeping and, not being so negative. But actually, what we do is we live in accordance with the level of baseline stress in our nervous systems. So if we are stressed in our nervous system, we can know up here all the things that we're supposed to be doing, but we just don't do them. But the more you clean out the baseline levels of stress in the nervous system, the more you can actually access the actions that you know you should be doing. So to really transition us from getting here, getting online, to being here, I want to start with actually doing 2 techniques that will allow you to feel and begin this process of discharging the stress from your nervous system. So the first one is called progressive muscle relaxation. It's a really simple technique. It's one of my favorites because it can be done anywhere. And what it does is it basically moves us from the stress response to the relaxation response, the rest and digest response. And in this state, we slow our breathing, which reduces our blood pressure and lowers our heart rate, and essentially starts to detox stress from our body. So if I can, I invite you to close your eyes, kind of sit up straight in your chair. Don't have your back necessarily leaning on a chair. If you could just sit up, you can tilt the chin slightly to your chest. This is a posture of dignity. And then just follow my guidance. Please have your both feet placed on the floor. So uncrossed legs, have both feet placed flat on the floor. And I'm going to ask you to focus first onto your right side. We're going to bring our attention fully into our right body. And I want you to imagine that underneath your right foot is a tennis ball. So as you inhale, I want you to imagine that you're trying to pick up this tennis ball with that right foot. So you're curling your foot, you're tensing your foot, trying to place all of your attention on picking up this tennis ball under the right foot. The left side of the body stays completely relaxed. We're just working on isolating this right foot. So keep squeezing on that tennis ball. And with your next exhale, full release. Release your foot back to the ground and really melt your muscles. Fully relax the muscles of that right foot. Bringing your attention now to your right calf muscles and right shin. So as you inhale, we're just going to tense and squeeze the right calf muscles, squeezing that lower right leg, leaving every other part of the body as soft as we can. So we're directing our thoughts into this squeezing and isolating of the right calf muscles. And on your next exhale, full release. Let go, melt, surrender that right calf. We're going to bring our attention up into the top thigh, the right thigh. And as you inhale, squeezing hamstrings, quads, and glutes of that right leg. Those long, strong muscles, hug them into the bone. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Keep tightening. The more you put into this, the more you'll get out. Keep squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Next exhale, full bodily release. You're releasing that right thigh, the right glute, quads, hamstrings. Moving up the body to the right side of the torso. And I want you to isolate and just squeeze the right tummy muscles. So you're pulling the stomach muscles on the right side back towards the spine. It's kind of interesting, quite difficult at the beginning, but you'll pick it up. So try to leave the left side alone and just pull in on that right side. Tense the right upper body too. So you're kind of tensing underneath the armpit. You're tensing your chest, the right breast, the right lung area, and pulling in the muscles on that right side of the tummy. Just trying to tense the right torso. Keep squeezing, keep focusing, keep adjusting, keep isolating. Next exhale, full complete body release on that right side. Let's take a moment to notice and feel into that bliss of the release. Now with your right hand, I want you to make a fist. Place the hand down by your side so your hand is long like a stick. And when you inhale, draw the arm up to the ear. So you're drawing that right shoulder up to your right ear and you're tensing and squeezing. You're squeezing your fist, you're squeezing your forearm, you're squeezing biceps, triceps, and your arm is lifted up towards your right ear. Tensing, tensing, squeezing, squeezing, like you're wringing out a dishcloth. Next exhale, full release, full body release. Let it go. Release, relax that whole right arm. Remember, left side is doing nothing. We're just working on the right. We have one more stop on the right side, and that's the right side of the face. So I want you to squeeze just the right side of your face. So you're squeezing your right eye, your right cheekbone, you're squeezing all the right temple, the right forehead. Again, sort of strange, but just focus on squeezing your right side. I promise you, the more you put in, the more you'll feel the benefit of this. Keep squeezing, squeezing. Exhale, release, full release. And just notice how your right side of your body feels in comparison to the left. There's probably a deeper heaviness, a deeper surrendering, and a deeper sort of melting of this right side. So we're going to bring the left side on board now and go through those same motions, isolating on the left. So let's begin with that left foot and begin to squeeze our left sole around that imaginary tennis ball. Squeezing, squeezing, tightening, using every muscle we can in the left foot. Left foot squeezes, squeezes. Next exhale, full release. Really release that left foot to the floor. Let everything leave through that left foot. Bring your attention to that left calf and shin. Inhale, begin the squeeze, trying to isolate just the calf muscles. Left calf is squeezing, tightening, constricting, contracting, holding. Exhale, releasing, full release. Attention now to that left thigh. Inhale, begin squeezing the quads, hamstrings, and glutes of that left thigh. Really hug your muscles to the bone. Feel the strength of your left leg. Really bringing your attention inward to your inner body. Squeezing, squeezing, exhaling and releasing. Really take the time to melt the thigh, melt the glutes. Melting and surrendering, beginning to detach and detox this stress that accumulates in the nervous system. Attention to that left side body and pinning the left side of your tummy back towards the spine, tensing under that left armpit, tensing this left side body, putting all your focus, attention, diligence to pulling in this left side body, squeezing, tightening. Exhale, full release. Full release through the left body. Making a fist with that left hand, dropping the hand down to your side so it's nice and long like a stick. Inhaling, squeezing, and lifting that left shoulder towards the left ear, tightening as you go. See if you can tighten every muscle you have in your arm, your wrist, your hand, your shoulder. Tighten and squeeze, tighten and squeeze, tighten and squeeze. Exhale, soft and full release. Let go, release. Soften. Last stop is the left side of the face. Same thing, begin to squeeze the left eye, the left cheekbone, all the left side of the face, the left temple, the left side of the forehead. Keep squeezing, squeezing, give it all you've got. No one's looking, everyone's eyes are closed. Keep squeezing. Last exhale, full release, full bodily release. Notice this lightness and space that starts to fill the body. And in this super relaxed state, stay with your eyes closed. We're going to experience an internal shower. Just as we have an external bodily shower, we're now going to experience an internal shower and do a little rinsing of our inner beings. So I want you to imagine that you are stepping into a rainforest shower out in a beautiful wooded clearing. The afternoon is warm and all around you is green. It's verdant and lush, pulsing with life and healing energy. There's a soft, constant light pressure of rain on your scalp. But it doesn't just roll off your outer body. It actually goes into your inner being, rinsing and cleaning through your brain and through every twist and turn of your gray matter. In each hemisphere of your brain. Feel the cool, refreshing water rinsing through the right side of your brain and then the left. Rinsing fear, clearing overwhelm and anxiety, beginning to cool and soothe behind both eyes, running through your ear canals and nasal passages, the cheekbones, the jaw, and the throat. Moving and dislodging all tension and negative input of what you have heard, seen, talked about, in your being. Feel them all rinse away with this flowing cool water. Let the refreshing water rinse through your neck, shoulders, shoulder blades, down through your biceps, forearms, wrists, through your palms, and feel the water spilling out of your fingertips. Notice the color and the gunk of what leaves you and everything that's being expelled through your fingertips from having washed and rinsed through your upper being. Now allow the water to cascade simultaneously through your front body and your back body, flowing over your spine and in between each vertebrae, washing through your organs in your back body, like your kidneys and adrenals, while also washing through your front body, your lungs, heart, digestive tract. Feel this cool water moving through your gut, intestines, uterus, ovaries, carrying with it all that needs to leave your body. This washing water cooling in your hips, continuing to move with it all the emotion stored and stacked in your organs, lower back and hips. Let this cleansing water continue to wash through your legs now, with the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads, flowing down your kneecap, calves and shin. It continues through the ankles and out through your feet, depositing all it has collected through the soles of your feet. See this murky water and all the debris of your accumulated emotional toxins pushing out from your internal being, same way mud would look being washed from your external being. Notice how clean and light and spacious you feel. and just allowing your mind and imagination to dissolve the emotional and energetic waste we all carry with us. Take a deep breath in. Now on your exhale, open your eyes. Staying in this diffused and relaxed state of being, coming back a little bit to the here and now. And hopefully we can close out that music. Thank you. So I hope everybody is feeling a little shifted, a little in a more relaxed and diffused state of attention. And this state of attention, by the way, is actually the best for absorbing and learning. So you'll all be able to teach what you learn here to someone else. And I hope you will, because that which we teach is how it programs and lodges deeper into our habits. And at the end of the day, that's what we all are. We are a collection of our habits. So I want to start with the biggest statement that I hope you will take away from our session today. And that is that self-care is healthcare, and it is directly related to your longevity. Self-care, it's not selfish, like we're sometimes taught to believe. It's not just for those who have extra time on their hands. And it's certainly not for those who are needy or weak. It's actually for those who want strength, longevity, and to live in peace and joy. So an alarming statistic I'll share with you from the Harvard School of Medicine is that 80% of all disease is stress-related. 80%, just let that sink in a second. So self-care is healthcare. And in my opinion, health is not the absence of disease. It's actually the presence of joy, vitality, energy, expansion. So I'm hoping that through these tools that I'm going to share with you, that you will chase health as a presence of these things and not do healthcare or self-care as a way to have an absence of disease. Let's chase a presence rather than an absence. So 5 areas of focus, and you can remember them like the 5 fingers of self-care. I was telling Becky earlier, I don't like PowerPoints because I think we tend to glaze out sometimes when, we're in the same method of learning. So I'd like to make our method of learning something that we always have with us, which is our 5 fingers. And the first one is mind. Your mind determines and directs everything else that cascades and goes on through your body. So think of your mind as like a 5-star general, and that every thought you think is kind of the battle command, the instruction to every cell in your being and every function in this multifaceted, magnificent creation of your body. Is taking direction from those thoughts. So I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed. Your body kind of responds and goes, guys, she says we're tired, or we're stressed, or we're upset. And it goes to making whatever you're thinking truth. So a wonderful antidote to those habitual thought forms that we all have is to bring your presence to thinking of something good. Anytime you think of something good, whether that's the warm tea in your hands, the food that you just had the privilege of eating, the water outside from the rainy day, the beautiful spring flowers around us. Every time you're thinking of something good and placing your attention on something good, you actually increase your vibrational frequency. And at the end of the day, everything is energy. We are energy. We are oscillations of vibrational frequency, and thoughts even have frequency. So a positive thought increases your vibration by 10. A negative thought decreases it by 12. And meditation, like we just did, increases us by 15. It's a positive increase of 15. So a typically healthy human body vibrates at 62 to 68 megahertz. The flu, in comparison, is 57. And thoughts have vibrational frequency. Food has vibrational frequency. And even disease has a frequency. And the higher your vibration is, the healthier you are. Disease cannot exist in high vibrating things. So when the mind wants to go low with worry, encourage it to tip towards positivity, and not kind of in a Pollyanna way, but just presence of what can I see around me that's good? What can I encourage my mind to think that will then influence the rest of my body, that keeps my vibration high? Because the higher your vibration, the healthier you are, and actually the happier you are. Then the second finger of self-care as healthcare is the body. So in England, we have a lovely saying. So it's a really clever one. It's very simple. And it's better out than in. So often if we're with a girlfriend, we'll say, come on, spit it out. It's better out than in. And if you think about it, anything that is toxic for us or depleting to us is better out than it is in. Think about when the body is sick. What do? We throw up because it's better out than in. We have the runs because that's better out than in. We have a temperature because it's better out than in. So keep that little saying perhaps in the back of your mind when you think about your body. What is better out than in inside me right now? And different ways to have things be better out than in would be like the progressive muscle relaxation we just did. We got that stress by squeezing and tightening and then releasing. It's better out than in. Running, dancing, any form of exercise, even if it's 1 to 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be the length of which you do something. It's the consistency with which you continue to detox, de-stress your nervous system. Another one I really like is shaking. Just shaking, even if you just shake your hands, shake your head, shake your body, shake your feet. This literally shakes, again, things that are better out than in. Think about athletes when they run. What do? They shake their arms out, they shake their bodies, they get loose. So we have so many wonderful little micro movements we can make to take us to a better place of calm, restoration, and health. So that's the second finger. The third one is choice. Choice is really interesting because it's actually something we can control. And it's one thing that we can use to bring us to peace and joy. So much as the body has vibrational energy and it can be measured, so can our emotions. So peace and joy are the highest vibrational emotions we can access, next to enlightenment. I don't think any of us are there at enlightenment yet, but we can all strive for peace and joy. And the lowest vibrational emotions, I don't know if you can guess them, but they are shame and guilt. And I'm going to say it, I think it's a female thing. We tend to feel so much responsibility, so much shame and guilt for what we haven't done, who we haven't pleased, how we haven't over-delivered. And I want you to remember that shame and guilt are the lowest vibrational energies. They're the things that drag our energy frequency towards disease. And peace and joy at the top of that ladder, the top of the elevator, is what brings us to health and presence of vitality, energy, happiness, contentment. So a couple of questions, and these will be in the follow-on notes. Becky will send out notes. So right now I invite you only to participate, and all this information will come to you in a separate note. But asking yourself, in whatever you're doing, is this going to bring me peace and joy? And how can I do this in a state of peace and joy? Even the most mundane or even the most frustrating of things, there is a choice. We can do it in negativity and frustration and anger, or we can choose to do the exact same thing from a place of reaching for peace and joy, calm, non-detachment, non-ego. And another great question you can ask yourself is, at what cost? This is one of the biggest questions I use in my coaching practice in helping people with well-being. When we think, oh, I have all this to do, or I should do this, or I should say yes to that, ask that question, at what cost? Usually a yes to somebody else is at a cost or at a no to ourselves. So discern between what's right for you and what's going to give you longevity and what cost you're paying for every single thing you do. There's a cost to our thoughts. There's a cost to our actions. There's a cost to how we spend our time. There's a cost to what we prioritized. So in this third finger of healthcare and self-care, keep asking at what cost? And is this going to bring me peace and joy? And if it's something I must do, how can I do this from a place of peace and joy? Just bring it onto your radar. You'll see there's a shift just by bringing it onto your awareness. The fourth one is natural medicine. There are so many natural medicines that I just don't think we access enough. We want the quick fix, there's a pill to solve everything. But I think leaning back into natural medicine is the way to peace and joy. So the number one for me is laughter. I have a girlfriend with whom we text a joke every day. It's like a really bad dad joke. I love dad jokes. And it makes me laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. There's a wonderful British chat show host. I don't know if you've heard of him, Graham Norton. And so I'll watch a little bit of Graham Norton, sometimes before I go to bed, because I want my body to oscillate and be at a high frequency of joy and laughter and happiness. So anyone or anything who reminds you to laugh, please make sure to interact and interchange and exchange with that person or thing pretty much daily and most certainly weekly. Have a habit, have a ritual of accessing laughter. Another natural medicine that I love is essential oils. The power of scent. So a couple I'll share with you. The scent of rose has been measured. It's actually been studied. Is that the scent of rose quells fear. It's the only scent that drops our fear response instantaneously. So if you're about to do something that makes you fearful, go and get a nice essential oil. I would suggest to stay away from perfumes because they're loaded with such other toxic chemicals. And essential oils they're so potent and they're good for you. They're medicine. So put a little essential oil on your wrists and just take a few nice long deep breaths and notice the state change from fear to steadiness. Another great one is orange, the scent of orange. Think about when somebody opens up an orange or a mandarin and you get that lovely citrus smell. Orange has been studied and found to boost your mood. So if you're going into a meeting or a long afternoon and you just need a bit of an uplift, again, that energetic lifting of your frequency, either use an essential oil, an orange essential oil, or open up an actual orange and smell it before you eat it. Let your saliva buds really crave that nourishment and that nutrition, because instantly you get gratitude when you mindfully take time to appreciate that which you have the privilege to consume. And then the fifth finger of self-care, the last one, is touch. This idea of nursing ourselves or self-soothing, I think it's a hidden super medicine and something that as women we can lean into and access a lot more. If we are mothers of little people or fur babies, or even in our roles at work, we tend to have a mothering and nurturing essence. But the person that we don't nurture and mother and soothe very much is us. So this fifth finger that I'm asking you or inviting you to bring into your awareness is of the power of self-soothing and touch to yourself that brings you to a place of home or a place of being loved. We have to love ourselves first. I know that sounds cliche, but I think it's a game changer, and it's a real, a shift in how you treat yourself, is to say, I matter and I have to love myself first before anybody else can love me. So this is from the work of Mark Waldman. He's a neurologist and neuroscientist that really studies mindfulness and the effects on the brain. And just simply placing, and we girls love to do this, just hand lotion and stroking your hands and stroking the forearms in particular. So taking time to stroke the wrists, the forearms, and the hands. This action alone drops the stress response. It literally slows the breathing and brings us again into this state of communion with the language of the body, which is the senses. The language of the mind is thoughts, and the language of the body is our senses. So there's a reason we all love to put hand lotion on and kind of do this motion. So now you can actually consciously do that when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Just grab some hand lotion that smells of heaven to you and massage those forearms and hands. Another great one before bed is a genuine hand massage or a foot massage. Just doing that for yourself for 2 or 3 minutes. It's not long, it's not complicated, but it will yield you much deeper sleep and a much longer period of sleep. Another lovely one through touch is simply keeping your left hand to your heart, your right hand to your belly, and taking what I call 3 hush breaths. So it's a simple inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, just saying hush. Inhaling. Hush. And inhaling. Hush. Think about how we hush our children or we hush others in their pain or discomfort. There's no reason you can't take a quick moment in the bathroom to just hush yourself. Another great one, which we all had with us today, is our tea. Perhaps you already do this, but taking the time to mindfully drink tea by wrapping your hands first around your teacup and feeling that warmth in your hands. And then taking the time to inhale and smell all the fragrances of your tea. Do it until your saliva buds again ask you and crave the nourishment. And then when you take your first sip, see how far you can follow that feeling of liquid nourishment. And often you can trace it all the way to your stomach. So it's really a wonderful way to soothe, nurse, and take care of yourself. Doing this 1 or 5 minutes a day literally has immediate recalibrating effects on the brain. And it's been shown to increase resilience. It literally helps us stay calmer, stay more motivated, and more optimistic, actually. And it helps with resilience to stress, trauma, anxiety, and depression. So just that power of the touch, just the power of tea, the power of scent, the power of choice, the power of it's better out than in, and the power of the mind and noticing which thoughts we are engaging and entertaining. So as I've shared those 5 things, I'd love to now get a little bit interactive. And if everybody just wants to start popping some things in the chat of what do you do for your mind? What do you do for your body? What do you do for natural medicine? How do you self-soothe and touch? And what are the choices you make? Anything that comes up for you, because the more we share, I think the more, the more information we all have. We can have greater things in our toolbox by sharing. So I shake before my golf swings and tennis serve. I love that. And somebody loves Graham Norton, best late night talk show host. I agree. I don't see any more coming in, Becky. I don't know if I'm not seeing them correctly. Let's see here.
It just takes a second.
Yes, yoga and walks. I used to meditate and it was incredible. I'm trying to get back into it. I'll maybe start with that progressive muscle relaxation first. That's a meditation in itself. Essential oils in a diffuser. Growing my own herbs and teas to have those available for all and for me. Walking with my dogs. Yes, brushing and loving on my cats. I give myself an entire day to creatively recharge, working with my hands in any way possible. I love that. Creativity. That's a massive self like restorer and a recalibrator. Breathe in light circle around my brain. Breathe out darkness and negativity. That's a lovely one. So we all have some things in our toolbox, and I think we can all add even more. So I'm now going to ask you some reflection questions. These are really for your, your conversation with yourself, this relationship with self. Often we have better relationships with, our phone than we do with ourselves. We all learn how to have relationships with our parents, our loved ones, our colleagues, our siblings, but rarely do we learn how to have this relationship with self. So I think the quality of the questions we ask ourselves determines the quality of our life. So here are a couple of questions to get you to understand maybe where you have some gaps, and you might want to focus your attention in terms of self-care and prioritizing your longevity. So the first question is, what rules do you have or have you made up that keep you going past what is healthy for you? So some rules that I used to have, I don't anymore, is I have to have the house entirely picked up before I go to bed. I have to have all the dishes done, everything, dried and put away. I have to call my parents every single day. What are the shoulds or the haves in your life that are the rules that you've made up? And actually, when we realize that we get to make the rules, we don't need to live by rules that are perhaps habits, perhaps things passed on to us, perhaps obligations that we have decided to shoulder. We don't have to shoulder it. It's an absolute choice to take that monkey off your back. So if you have your journal and pen with you, I'd love you to spend just a few moments thinking about and writing down what are the rules you've made up that keep you going past what is healthy for you. You might just jot down a few things. You don't have to sort of write in long sentences, but just things that pop. Almost let it come from your heart, not just your head. The next question, where could you give yourself some grace? Where could you give yourself some grace and compassion? I'm sure the way you do for others, where could you give yourself some grace and compassion? And the one that pops up first is usually the most important one. And then the last question is, where and how do you receive? We're all familiar with giving. We give time, energy, presence, attention, advice. But where do you receive? How do you receive? And who modeled receiving for you? Where did you learn to receive or not? And how do you model receiving to the people in your orbit that are watching you? You know, our people in our worlds watch us being human doings and always hustling, doing. And especially if we have little people watching us, it is important to model how to be a human being and show them how to take time. Because with little ones, they do what we do, not what we say. Damn it. Never what we say, it's always what we do. So this is an invitation for those of you with children that taking care of yourself and showing others that you're taking care of yourself models to your children that they have permission. It's okay for them to take care of themselves as well. And it's interesting to reflect on who modeled receiving for you. Where did you watch receiving? So if you just want to finish up where you are with that, again, these questions will be sent out in the follow-up email, but they are very revealing questions and may, as I said, help you find some of the gaps and areas where you could put a little more attention to you, a little more prioritization of your well-being. So I know I've just a few moments left, and I would love to close with these poetic words from Maria Sabina. She is a Mexican healer and poet. And I feel this just really encapsulates everything that I talked about. So you can close your eyes if you want to really just receive through your ears or sit comfortably as you wish. Heal yourself with the light of the sun and the rays of the moon, with the sound of the river and the waterfall, with the swaying of the sea and the fluttering of the birds. Heal yourself with mint, neem, and eucalyptus. Sweeten with lavender, rosemary, and chamomile. Hug yourself with the cocoa bean and a hint of cinnamon. Put love in tea instead of sugar and drink it looking at the stars. Heal yourself with the kisses that the wind gives you and the hugs of the rain. Stand strong with your bare feet on the ground and with everything that comes from it. Be smarter every day by listening to your intuition and looking at the world with your heart, not just your head. Jump, dance, sing, so that you live happier. Heal yourself with beautiful love. And always remember, you are the medicine. Those are the best closing words I think I can give you, is that you are the medicine. You matter, and your self-love is your healthcare and your longevity and your sustainability in the world. So thank you so much for your time and participation, and mostly for the work you do in the world. I have so much admiration and reverence for what you do. And please take time to love yourself with the same dedication and passion with which you love others and your jobs. My wish is for you to prosper And prosper actually means to move forward with hope. And that can feel difficult at times. So my wish and blessing is that you prosper and that you live authentically. And authenticity actually means to author your own life. And I think what I've shared today, I hope you will take that pen into your hand a little greater and author your own life, because that's what authenticity really is. And I have to close by saying, may the 4th be with you.
Well played. And I think we have a couple of minutes for questions, right?
Oh, that's
Are you
right.
willing to take some questions? Yeah. So if anybody has questions and wants to throw those in the chat, we have a few minutes. We can respond to those. And I've actually got a question because we talked about receiving that. And you and I kind of talked a lot about this yesterday. But, I think there may be some of us who have people in our lives who haven't necessarily modeled receiving in a proper way. So if we don't have that model to us, how are ways that we can start to break down those barriers so that we can start receiving into our lives?
So great question. Thank you. That's the truth for so many people. A lot of our mothers were doers and we watched them, and then we became the same way. So the first thing is just having it on your radar, even just having we've all now got it on the radar of, oh, how do I receive? Where do I receive? Who have I learned from? And some of the small ways first to learn how to receive are things like compliments. Most of us, when we get a compliment, we're like, oh, she's just being nice. Oh, you're sweet. She felt she had to say that. We don't even receive a compliment fully. How is that true for anyone else? Raising hands. Yeah. So allow yourself, the same grace with which you give a compliment. It's important to have that equality and that equanimity of being able to receive a compliment in the same way. That's one form of receiving. The way you have your tea. Can you take a moment to receive your tea? Or like a lot of us, we just slug it back while we're driving, while we're on a call. That's not receiving. That's just like fueling. So I would invite everybody to question everything they do. Is how am I receiving this? How am I receiving that compliment? How am I receiving this food? Am I taking the time to smell my food, look at my food, then taste my food? I always say we should eat eyes, nose, and then mouth, and take our time. Chew, really have that gratitude for what we are, receiving. So it's in everything. How do I receive people? How do I receive food? How do I receive my work? That's a choice. Do I receive my work with dread? Do I receive it with, oh my God, I've got to do this again? Or do I say, you know what, I'm going to receive this with the privilege that I get to do this. Not I have to do this, but I get to do this. That's that whole climbing the ladder to peace and joy thing. Constantly challenging ourselves up the frequency ladder and noticing when we're in guilt and shame and saying, wow, gosh, I'm feeling guilt and shame. What can I do to soothe myself? What can I do to nurse myself? Receiving from yourself, massive. I just think there's so many micro movements and ways in which we can start playing with this concept of receiving. And the more you do, the broader your highway of habit gets. You've got to keep practicing, and then that becomes the highway of habit. And then it becomes your state of being, your way of being. That is so hard. Partner taught me to just say, oh, shucks, thank you. Causes it's so weird to just allow it to be. That's a retraining of habit and a choice. Maybe you could just start by saying thank you to that compliment that you received, Katrina. Don't know if I can see you. Who's Katrina?
I don't think she has her video on today.
Okay. Not just saying the thank you, but receiving, like feeling that compliment, feeling the thank you, and saying, I received that, whether you say it out loud or in your head. That's how I started with compliments. I'm just like, I received that. I'm going to open myself to receive that. It felt a bit odd and awkward at first, but it got easier. And now it's like a non-negotiable for me. If somebody is taking the time to give me the gift of a compliment, the least I can do is have the grace to receive it fully. So I think it's a responsibility. I think you're pushing away someone's generosity and somebody's love and appreciation of you when we just dismiss, something they've noticed about us. And actually, all we all want in life is to feel seen and heard. And a compliment is the way we're seen and heard. Why can't we just, accept it? I'm cautious of time, Becky. It's 1:29. So tell me if I should rabble on anymore.
Yeah, I think that I don't see any other questions in the chat. So just want to take this moment to say thank you so much for joining us today, Gargi. This is just like we said, I think so many people in chat, so this is exactly what we needed. Yeah, please feel free to say your thanks in the chat or show your round of applause. We're so thankful. As in tradition of Women in Sustainability, we will also be planting trees in your name through our partnership with One Tree Planted. So you'll receive a certificate later today with your tree information on it. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of you for being here today. I know that, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Continue the conversation. In addition, Gargi has a book that is called, remind me, 8 Ways to Wealthy.
Wealthy ways.
So
wealth we think of as money, but to me, wealth is WELL, like wellness. So it's 8 counterintuitive steps to longevity, self-care, and inner freedom.
And she is offering that book to the attendees for $10. I'll send that information or plus shipping. So I'll order directly through her to get that book. I have it myself. I'm excited to start reading it and to learn so much more from you. Thank you so much. It has been so generous to have you here today, and we're just so thankful for this information.
Thank you.
Katrina asked if you'd sign the book before you send it.
Yes, of course. My pleasure.
And thank you everybody for being here. Stay well, stay mentally well, physically well, and we can look forward to seeing all of you soon. Of course, check us out, womensustainability.org, for all of our upcoming events.